Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربي زدني علما ربي زدني علما ربي زدني علما. So we'll be continuing on with the study of the Shuma'il, the prophetic personality of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In this class today, we'll also be continuing with the chapter in regards to Babu ma ja'a fi khuluqi Rasulillahi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the chapter on the prophetic character of the Prophet ﷺ. And we talked about this word khuluq and how it means what's inside of you, your insides, your inner character, your inner thoughts, like those types of things that transform and come out into your outward actions. So today we're going to recover a hadith that we covered last class, and then we're going to also continue on, inshallah, with another narration. Okay. So in this narration, sorry, 1 second. In this narration, this is narrated by Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, she says, قالت ما ضرب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بيده شيئا قط إلا أن يجاهد في سبيل الله ولا ضرب خادما ولا امرأة. So Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, she narrates in this narration, she says that ما ضرب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, that the Prophet ﷺ, he never hit anything biyadihi, with his hand. Okay, ma daraba means to hit, to strike something. The Prophet ﷺ never struck anything, never hit anything biyadihi shay'an qattu, ever. Illa yujahida fi sabilillah, except for in the situation where he was in war, where he was going for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَا ضَرَبَ خَادِمًا وَلَا إِمْرَأَةً. And then the Prophet ﷺ, he never struck, he never hit a khadim, somebody who was in his service, somebody who was helping him, a servant, someone who was in his service. وَلَا إِمْرَأَةً, nor did he ever hit or put his hands on a woman. And think about this narration, that Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha is the one who's narrating this. Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha is giving us an insight on the prophetic characteristic, the prophetic character of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that whenever he was in, and just kind of talking about the beginning part of this narration, that whenever he was in the position of any type of position of authority, that he didn't overrule that authority. Like the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't come and say that, okay, because I'm the Prophet, I can hit this person, I can do this, I can do that. The Prophet ﷺ never violated anyone else's rights. This is what this is saying. That the Prophet ﷺ never physically violated anyone else's rights. And that she says, وَلَا ضَرَبَ خَادِمًا, that he never hit somebody who was in his service. And what does that mean? That these two groups of people, a khadim and imra, so a khadim and also a woman, these two groups, these two demographics, we call them, they were very mistreated in the time of the Prophet. They were very mistreated by the Meccans, in the sense that the Prophet, in this time, it wasn't so long ago that they were burying their daughters. It wasn't so long ago that they were, dragging Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anhu through the streets of Mecca and beating him. It wasn't so long ago that they had killed Sumayya radiallahu ta'ala anha. So here you have Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha talking about the demeanor, the character, and the way that the Prophet carried himself. That even people in society who society will put down, society will violate their rights, the Prophet never violated their rights. And there is no room for this in our religion, right? So we're learning the prophetic character of the Prophet so that we can learn how we are to be as people, and we can learn how to navigate our Islam. how to navigate Islam, how to navigate being Muslim. And so the Prophet is teaching us here that violation of people's rights and physical abuse is not an option, it is not something that is even tolerated in Islam. And so there are certain narrations where, women would come to the Prophet, they would tell the Prophet their husbands were abusing them or hitting them and things of that nature, and they were seeking to be separated from their husbands. And the Prophet would separate them from their husbands. So there's no room for any type of domestic violence, any type of abuse in our religion. Okay, so that's something that I didn't necessarily focus on in the last time that we covered this hadith, and I wanted to focus on it in this particular time. In the next narration, and this is another narration from Aisha radiallahu anha, throughout this entire process, we're going to see a lot of narrations from people who spent a lot of time with the Prophet, from people who were very close to him, okay? Be it Aisha radiallahu anha, be it Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu, right? These are people who were, Anas ibn Malik was in the service of the Prophet for 10 years. He says, خَدَمْتُ بِرَسُولِ اللَّهِ عَشْرَ سِنِينَ, that he was in the service of the Prophet for 10 years. And then you have Aisha radiallahu anha, who was married to the Prophet, whose home was connected to the masjid. And so Aisha radiallahu anha, who has like such an impeccable memory, she also gives us a lot of the narrations for an insight into the life of the Prophet and an insight into the character of the Prophet. Aisha radiallahu anha narrates, and Aisha radiallahu anha qalat, she says, ما رأيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم منتصرا. She said, I have never seen the Prophet avenge himself. Like when somebody did something to him, I've never seen him go and do something bad. I've never seen him say, like when it came to him personally. Min madlamatin dhulumaha qatu. Whenever he was personally afflicted with something, whenever he was personally attacked, whenever somebody did something to him personally, the Prophet never avenged himself. Okay? As long as this wasn't something that violated, as long as it wasn't something that violated or transgressed or crossed the lines of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had prohibited. Okay? As long as it wasn't something that transgressed or crossed the lines of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had prohibited. فَإِذَا تُهِكَ مِنْ مَحَارِمِ اللَّهِ شَيْءٌ كَانَ مِنْ أَشَدِّهِمْ فِي ذَلِكَ غَضَبًا. That in the situation that this is something that violated the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or violated, something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had considered to be prohibited, then she says that كَانَ مِنْ أَشَدِّ فِي ذَلِكَ غَضَبًا. He was the first person to do something about it. He was the first person to be, there is no one that you can find that was more proactive. There is no one you can find that was more angry about that situation than the Prophet. Meaning that the Prophet was like, when it comes to me, if somebody does something to me personally, then it's fine. Everything is fine. But when you violate the rights of Allah and the rights of hukukul ibad, the rights of other slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then in that situation, then the Prophet would stand up and he will be angry about it. He will be ready to defend. وَمَا خُيِّرَ بَيْنَ أَمْرَيْنِ. And there was never a time when he had to choose between two situations, two matters. إِلَّا اخْتَارَ أَيْسَرَهُمَا. Except for the fact that he will always choose that which was more simple or that which was more easy. مَا لَمْ يَكُنْ مَأْثَمًا. As long as it wasn't a sin, as long as it wasn't something that would lead to a sin, and as long as it wasn't a sin. So what do we learn from this narration here is that we learn a lot about the Prophet. The first thing that we learn is that the Prophet, there are many situations in his life when people have done things to him that were not nice, when people have treated him in a way that was not respectful, when people have violated the rights of the Prophet. There are so many stories, there are so many things that happened in his lifetime, and the Prophet never avenged for those things. But then when it came to the rights of other people being violated, or when it came to people doing things that are prohibited by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then the Prophet would stand up for them, and the Prophet would do what he had to do. So for example, after the battle of So, for example, after the Battle of Khaybar, around the time of the Battle of Khaybar, the Prophet, when they went for the Battle of Khaybar, they were invited to eat. And they went to eat, and right when the Prophet was putting the food in his mouth, he got news from Jibril Islam that that food was poisoned. Okay, that food was poisoned. And so the Prophet, he was affected by it a little bit because he had put a little bit in his mouth, but he wasn't completely affected by it. And so when they found out who had poisoned the food, it was just this woman who had poisoned the food. When they found out who had poisoned the food, the Sahaba tried to bring her to the Prophet. And the Prophet told them, let her go. It's fine. She can go. But the problem was that somebody else, a companion of the Prophet, had also eaten from that food. And so this companion ate from the food, and that companion ended up passing away. And so because of that, the Prophet had to take this lady into account for her actions to avenge the death of the companion, not what happened to the Prophet. And we see this in many other places. For example, Abu Sufyan, who now we say radiallahu ta'ala anhu for, before he had become Muslim, Abu Sufyan wasn't very nice to the Prophet. There's so many narrations that talk about, the situation of the dynamic of Abu Sufyan and the relationship that he had with the Prophet. That Abu Sufyan was the one who had spearheaded a lot of the battles that the Muslims had to suffer through, that the Muslims had to go through. And so in the Battle of Uhud in particular, that battle was a very difficult battle for the Muslims. Not only did the Muslims lose in that battle, but so many prominent figures of the community have passed away, be it Hamza radiallahu ta'ala anhu, be it Mus'ab bin Umayr radiallahu ta'ala anhu. So many prominent figures, so many people who helped in the establishment of Islam itself had been affected and had been killed in that battle. And the Prophet ﷺ himself, he had gotten hurt. The Prophet ﷺ had gotten hurt. He had, cuts on his cheeks. He was just not in the best shape at all. And so at the end of the battle, Abu Sufyan comes and he's like boasting and praising, and just being so non-gracious about his win, okay? Because he was the one who spearheaded this battle. So he's not being gracious about it at all. And so then he calls out to the Prophet and he proclaims so loudly. He says that you're going to walk into this battlefield and you're going to see some of your loved ones. And you may see that some of them have been mutilated. And he says something at the end that really is just driving the knife in. He says that I saw it happen. I didn't command them to do it, but I didn't stop it. Meaning that I'm happy that they mutilated the bodies of those whom you love. And amongst the people who was mutilated was Hamza ibn Abi Talib radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who was very, very, very close to the Prophet. Not only was he family, not only was he like a brother to him, not only was he like a friend to him, he was his support system, he was his confidant, he was somebody that the Prophet depended upon very heavily and the Prophet loved very dearly. And so you have Abu Sufyan proclaiming at the Battle of Uhud, proclaiming loudly, he's like, you may find that some of your people have been mutilated. Just know that I didn't stop it. I didn't command it, but I didn't stop it either. And what happens? Full circle, Abu Sufyan comes back to accept Islam. The Prophet doesn't tell him, oh, you killed somebody that I love. The Prophet doesn't tell him that you ignited so many wars, you instigated so many things, I'm not going to accept you back. Rather, the Prophet never avenged for the things that afflicted him personally, but rather he will always defend on behalf of other people and defend on behalf of the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the last part of this narration, it says, وَمَا خُيِّرَ بَيْنَ أَمْرَيْنِ إِلَّا اخْتَارَ أَيْسَرَهُمَا. That the Prophet never had a choice except that he would choose what was easier or what was more simple from both of those matters. مَا لَمْ يَكُنْ مَعْثَمًا. As long as it didn't come to sin, as long as it wasn't leading you on the discourse of sin, the Prophet he will always choose that which was simpler and that which was easier. And what does that mean? It means that it's teaching us to be human. It's teaching us to realize that we have capacities and that it's okay to take the easy way out as long as you're not committing a sin and as long as you're not lying to yourself in the process. Okay? The last hadith that we'll cover today is also from Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, and it's a very beautiful hadith. And before we get into the hadith, this hadith actually is about a situation where somebody comes to the house of the Prophet and the Prophet tells Aisha, signals to Aisha something, and he does so out of her protection. Okay. So عن عائشة رضي الله تعالى عنها قالت عائشة رضي الله عنها says استأذن رجل على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. So a man asked to enter into the home, asked for permission to come to the Prophet ﷺ, to present himself to the Prophet ﷺ, to be in the presence of the Prophet ﷺ. And then she said, وأنا عنده, and I was with him. فقال, and he said, so she doesn't actually say the name here, but here the authors are speculating different names, and then they said, so فقال بئس الابن عشيرة أو أخو عشيرة, that this person, he's somebody who causes a lot of trouble. Okay, he causes a lot of trouble. That's what he tells Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. That the Prophet turns to Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. He lets her know that this person is not the best person. He causes a lot of trouble. And then ثُمَّ أَذِنَ لَهُ, then he gave him permission to enter. Okay, he gave the person permission to enter. And so she says, فَأَعْلَنَ لَهُ الْقَوْلِ, he was very lenient, very soft spoken in the way that he spoke to him. فَلَمَّا خَرَجَ, and when this man left, قُلْتُ, I said to the messenger, يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ, O messenger of Allah, قُلْتُ مَا قُلْتَ, you said to me what you said, meaning you told me that he wasn't the best person, the nicest guy. ثُمَّ أَعْلَنْتَ لَهُ الْقَوْلِ, but then you were so soft and so lenient in your speech to him. فَقَالَ, and the Prophet said, Ya Aisha, O Aisha, inna min sharri nasi man tarakahu nas. Indeed, in the evils of mankind, the evils of people, is the one who leaves mankind. Oh, وَدَعَهُ النَّاسُ اتِّقَاءَ فُحْشِهِ, or they completely abandon this person out to try to, because of that person's indecency, to try to make sure that that person doesn't corrupt them. And what the Prophet is saying here is that first things first, Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, she's first things first is that the Prophet is advising Aisha radiallahu anha. And that's his family. This is his family. Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha is his wife. That is his first priority, to protect her. So he's by no means is he backbiting her. Rather, he's trying to protect Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. So he turns to her, he lets her know that this is not the best person to be around. You need to be very careful. He should give her a warning. You have to be very careful. But look at how Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha shares this gem with us. She doesn't say the man's name. She keeps it a secret. Why? Because we are here to learn from this. We don't need to be judging anybody. We don't need this man's name to know what tribe he came from, where he's going, and things of that nature. We just have the story here so that we're able to benefit from it. There are two things here. The first thing is that the Prophet made sure to protect his family. He made sure that nobody was going to come in and try to violate his family. This is the very second thing that we see here is that the wisdom in which the Prophet is talking to this person. One, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ, that every single human being, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created them with dignity and honor. No matter how vile or disgusting or terrible of a person they are, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created them with honor, and He's created them with value. Okay? So the Prophet treats this man with just basic dignity, basic respect. He's very kind to him. He's very gracious to him. He treats him with a lot of respect and a lot of dignity. The second thing that we see here is that if this guy is as confrontational as the Prophet was telling Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anhu that he was, that for the Prophet to go and be confrontational with him would have defeated the purpose, it would have just become a huge fight. But instead, the Prophet recognized that, you know, this guy is somebody that has connections with his own community and so on and so forth. So the Prophet, and that he's human, and the Prophet treated him with respect, treated him kindly, okay, so that he's able to continue on with his mission without breaking somebody. And so we'll stop here for today. These are the characteristics, these are the things that we see of the Prophet. Inshallah, next week will be our last week because that is the last week of Ramadan, and that makes me very sad. But we will finish off with the actual characteristics of the Prophet. I pray that we're all able to benefit from what we learned here today. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us all the best in this life and the next. Those of us who are not in the best of health, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts us in the best of health. Those of us who are feeling well, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increases us in good health. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. And don't forget to help RCM and sustain our efforts so that we are able to continue to do the programming that we do and be able to provide to the community as we're able to provide for the community. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.